When scrolling on social media, have you ever noticed that every crevice that you scroll into has its own aesthetic? Like every corner of the internet just seems to have its own look. I feel like one day I'm seeing like ballet flats, leg warmers, bows in the hair. The next minute I'm seeing tons of low-rise jeans, flashy lip gloss and baby tees. And it makes me feel like they're all part of something much bigger, like all of these micro worlds that we call style aesthetics. From Pinterest to TikTok, our style aesthetics definitely say more than we think. But I'm so curious to find out where the hell they actually came from. Why do certain styles just suddenly take over our complete social media feed? And why are we so drawn to them? So in today's video, I want to dig into all of that. I know, quite a big topic. We're going to look at 4 different style aesthetics that are affecting how people are dressing right now. Then, just for fun, I'm going to style myself into every single one of the aesthetics and do a lovely green screen backdrop to really fully embody the identity and see what it feels like to dress in every single one. So from the soft romance of Coquette to the gloomy darkness of dark academia, the wild main character energy that Y2K brings us, and the polished calm of the clean girl aesthetic. We're about to explore how all of these fashion trends became much more than just clothes. So let's start where softness meets rebellion and have a look at the Coquette aesthetic. So strolling into the coquette world, you can definitely recognize this style through bows, lace, a lot of pinks, kind of leaning into like ballet core as well. The vibe is definitely romantic, feminine, and very nostalgic. So where did it actually originate from? The internet tells me that Tumblr had a very big influence between like 2013 to 2016. You know, the Lana Del Rey, the Lolita, the 2000s soft girl culture. It died down for a long time, but it's recently been revived through TikTok and brands like Brandy Melville, which are really leaning into that very soft, cute to girly aesthetic. The word coquette actually means a flirtatious woman, but apparently the trend really reinterprets that as owning femininity. Rather than serving men and being super cute and flirtatious to impress them, it's kind of like claiming all of that back instead of being defined by it. So why is it so popular? It plays with the power and performance of femininity, being hyper feminine, but knowing it's an aesthetic choice, so it's on your own terms. There's definitely nostalgia for like a pre-digital softness prior to social media and everybody having a phone everywhere that they go. It plays into like romanticism of life and owning kind of like vintage glamour, so being cute, being girly, being very made up for like day-to-day regular activities. It gives you a break from this really fast, social media focused, fast-paced life and kind of allows you to step back, romanticize all the little things, grabbing your little coffee, going for a nice relaxing stroll, and making life more beautiful, more emotional, and definitely a lot slower. Some of the research claims that it's all about reclaiming those ultra girly things. So things like hair bows and pink were stereotyped into what a girl should be and how a girl should dress. The whole aesthetic is about reclaiming that and wearing it ironically rather than wearing it because you have to and because you fit into that category, which I thought was really interesting because when I see people dressed in this aesthetic, I think, oh, how cute, they look all put together with their little bows, but actually it's a lot more powerful than that. And I think a lot of people probably don't realize. So this aesthetic is definitely out of my comfort zone. I'm more of a like boho 70s whimsical type of gal. So putting together a coquette outfit is going to be very tricky, but we're going to give it a go. And I think we should hop into it. All right, so this is my version of a coquette outfit. Like I said, this one is a bit of a struggle because I don't really have a very girly wardrobe. I don't have anything pink, but I do have a cute little bow, which I've chucked in. And I feel like this is a very cute girly outfit. So we got some like leg warmer-esque socks, a lovely fluffy jumper, a cute little mini skirt. We got a little curls, like they say, is part of the aesthetic. And of course, like I said, the little bow to kind of jazz that up and make it a lot more girly. So this is my complete coquette outfit. I feel adorable in this. I feel like a cute little cuddly bear. It's really, really adorable. And actually, I kind of want to dress like this more often. But I do feel like I have nailed the backdrop. Like this is the most coquette space that I think I could ever dream of inside my head. It's adorable and I feel like my outfit fits in here really quite nicely. So what do we think? Did I do coquette justice with this one or do I just need a ton more pink? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so stepping into dark academia, which I think is such an interesting aesthetic. You can definitely recognize this one through those like chunky Oxford loafers, a lot of tweed, blazer shirts, you know, that kind of like classy office but super cute type of vibe. So the vibes of this one are definitely very intellectual, very moody, very vintage aesthetic. This one actually predates the coquette aesthetic. This one appeared on Tumblr around 2010, and it was inspired by literature like Dead Poets Society, The Secret History, and Pride and Prejudice. So like most aesthetic, this one had its kind of relapse at the start of lockdown, so about 2020 to 2021, when people were longing for depth and routine and being able to study and learn on their own terms. People are also seeking to romanticize isolation. So rather than suffocating in your own space and seeing it as a really negative thing, people wanted to romanticize that, you know, the freedom to be by yourself, enjoy your own company, and look pretty damn cute doing it. What I find interesting about this aesthetic is that it blends kind of like the academic, very formal style with goth. So it's called dark academia because it tends to draw in a lot of like blacks and grays and all of those kind of gloomy, dark tones all into one outfit. And I feel like anytime I think of dark academia, I think of like a rainy day, the library, drinking your hot coffee and staring out into a miserable day. Those are the first things that come to my mind for whatever reason. So the reason why this one is deemed to be popular is because it's kind of a reaction to all of the fake things that are seen online. So when I scroll on social media, I feel like a lot of it is very fake and set up. People do like fake interviews where they bump into someone in the street, fake meet cutes, like comedy skits that are just set up. So this aesthetic is just about living in the moment and celebrating being intellectual, having real life experiences, learning, reading, having a slow romantic life. So in general, it's just about being really thoughtful, a bit different, and just quietly standing out. Okay, so that is enough history. Let's try and pop this one on. And I think I have some pieces that will make a really, really cute outfit. Let's hop into this one as well. And here is my take on dark academia. I've got my little Stephen Hawking's prop book, which I've never read, but it looks cute, huh? When I think of dark academia, messy bun, hot coffee, rainy day, dark outfit, book. Stereotypes that are coming into my head, but I think it's working. And I feel like this outfit nails the aesthetic. So we've got all of the doomy dark colors. We've got a shirt, the vest. Sweater vests, I think, are such a staple for this aesthetic. One could argue that I should have put a blazer on, but I don't actually own one anymore. I got rid of all of my blazers. So this is the full, complete outfit. Also, I did just shove my bun up here really messily, so if it looks really bad from the back, keep it to yourselves. So of course I've gone for the chunky loafers. You gotta have that, some wide leg black trousers, a dark colored checkered shirt, and like I already mentioned, the sweater vest. And I think this is a pretty cool outfit. I do love dark academia. It is something that if I have to dress formal, that is kind of what I go for. I much prefer it over light academia, which is a whole other story which we will not cover in this video. If you like this one, this might become a bit of a series. So again, with my backdrop, I feel like I am blending in just fine. You could just see me stood there being educated in a slow romantic way. I don't know, there's just something about this that makes you feel really like cool, mysterious, understated, you know? So, the Y2K, which a lot of people seem to overlook, but it is literally the year 2000. So it's fashion from the 2000s. And this one you can absolutely recognize by metallic sequins, super low-rise jeans, tiny baby t-shirts, over-accessorizing, all of that kind of like main character energy. The vibe is definitely flashy, pop culture, being chaotic, being confident. I typically think about the likes of Britney Spears, Spice Girls that are just like over the top in your face. So although this is called Y2K, the year 2000, it does kind of reference the 90s and the 2000s. So there's definitely inspiration drawn from those two time periods. So like I said, a lot of very futuristic fashion, leaning into like popular culture, what a pop star would wear on stage, just as your regular day-to-day outfit. So this style actually disappeared when 9/11 happened, as well as the 2008 recession, because people were just not feeling super upbeat and happy and wanting to wear those beautiful, glamorous, standout outfits, and some people couldn't even afford to. So in general, the style aesthetic died up until Gen Z revived it in the late 2010s through like Depop, Pinterest, as well as on TikTok. Some might even argue that this was kind of like the start of thrifting, why it became so popularized, because as the kind of style aesthetic rose, you were able to get a lot of that stuff in charity shops, so like the old brands, the old genuine things people wore in the 90s and 2000s. So maybe that had a part to play. Who knows? So it's kind of like a love letter and a parody to the pre-social media time, before we all had cell phones and could access things just like that. It's about living a private main character life, but also looking super cool and fooling everyone that you're having a really, really great time. It's about celebrating early internet optimism, pop glamour. It was just a really fun time. So the reason that this style is supposedly popular is because it kind of represents escapism to a time where people were careless, you could just have a lot of fun. And this style aesthetic is very, very much anti-minimalism. So it's about bright colors, being playful, over-accessorizing, just having fun with your style, which honestly feels really liberating in a era where we're living in like curated social media perfection. Very bold, very unapologetic. So let's try and put an outfit together. All right, so this is my take on Y2K. I know I could do with a much better, more Y2K top, but this is the only kind of like baby tee I own. This is also the most low-rise thing I own, which is this beautiful denim skirt, which honestly is so stunning, my favorite piece. But I felt like I was missing like the fun, the razzle-dazzle of Y2K. I looked at photos of Christina Aguilera, Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, and they all had like sassy, cute belts on. So I figured this green one could be really cute, and obviously double belt layering was also a thing, so I've gone for this little brown one as well. I think the only thing that is killing the outfit is the fact that my hair is curly. I feel like everybody wore their hair like pinned straight back then with like chunky highlights and stuff. So I'm gonna just shove my hair back so we can pretend and it doesn't ruin the vibe. But I love Y2K fashion, honestly. The only downside is I don't quite have the body for it. Like I don't feel super confident wearing very low-rise stuff with a lot of my stomach sticking out. Like this is a lot. But for this aesthetic, I'm going all out and trying to live it in the most authentic way possible. Y2K is one of those styles that everybody has their own interpretation of it, how it should look, how it should work. And I've tried Y2K before and I had loads of shame in comments telling me how inaccurate it is. So hopefully this one is a little bit better, because I tried to actually copy images of these people that I found on Google, and this is what I got. So I was actually born in the 90s. I was very, very young, and the stuff my mum dressed me in was nowhere near this cool. But if I had been in that era, I love a lot of the fashion. Like it is just stunning and gorgeous, and I quite like the whole main character energy vibe. I think it's very cool. So this is the Y2K look. Oh, I also had a handbag. This little cutie patootie. All these tiny little mini bags that are impractical. Well, I guess actually practical for that time, because people either didn't have phones or they had those tiny like flip phones that you could just chuck away and it disappears. But here we are. This is the outfit. Let's do the last one. So on to the final aesthetic that we're going to explore in today's video, and it is the clean girl aesthetic. So you will recognize this one through slick back buns, hoop earrings, very neutral colors like little white tops and neutral leggings, that kind of stuff. So the vibe is very sleek, understated, and very that girl. I don't know why I keep quoting so much in this one. So this one originated from wellness culture, luxury minimalism, and no makeup trends that have been going around over the last few years. So the whole idea is that you look put together, but there's no visible effort that you've made. It's kind of like, I woke up like this, but actually this took me 3 hours in the morning to slick back all of my little fringe baby hair pieces. This one again was popularized on TikTok in like 2020, 2021, where people felt like their whole life was falling apart because COVID, we do not speak of her anymore, made everybody feel like our life was like uproared and unstructured. So people leaned into this aesthetic to kind of feel like they have their shit together. So this one was definitely inspired by the likes of Hailey Bieber, Bella Hadid, and it definitely evolved from like the non-makeup makeup, the Scandinavian look, and the wellness, that girl lifestyle. So you know, the Pilates, the smoothies, the matches, all of that fits into that aesthetic. And it also kind of has a link to like corporate luxury minimalism. So you will see Skims is a really good example of that. So it's extremely expensive, it's owned by a billionaire, but it tries to promote the average person to look really sleek and put together and wear your neutral palette, your neutral tones. That is a really good example of how that aesthetic has been popularized. So why is this aesthetic so popular? Well, it fits into what social media is all about, which is being perfect and being just natural and real and yourself, even though it is far from it, which is a really, really interesting juxtaposition. So looking natural, but still completely flawless. So everything is clean, tidy, organized, put together, and you are in control. And in general, it just reflects people's desires for simplicity, for routine, for feeling like your life has purpose after years of pure chaos. Okay, so I think it's time that we put together a clean girl look. Let's go. And this is my clean girl aesthetic. The only thing I'm not doing for you guys is scraping my hair back because A, I just washed my hair and it is a hell of a lot of product. B, I have a circle face, so it makes me look like a giant freaking egg. So this is the only clean girl aesthetic hairstyle that I am willing to produce for this video. Anyway, this is the complete outfit. So of course, I think it tells you a lot about me. I have a matching Lululemon set. So we've got the BBL jacket with the black leggings, got the neutral Ugg boots, little white top underneath. And of course, I have an accessory, which is my Pilates mat, because I am just such a cool, put together girl who's about to work out in a really beautiful, elegant way. So this is my clean girl aesthetic look. I think it is very basic, very simple, and that is what it's all about. The little creative Paulina inside me is screaming for me to add like a pop of color or some fluff or like a hair bow. But no, we gotta keep it simple, keep it classy. It's definitely not my favorite outfit because I do lean into maximalism in things that I put on my body, and this just isn't giving me that. But we're not here to serve me. We are looking to try the aesthetic, see how it feels, and enjoy it for the 5 minutes I'm going to speak to you guys. So this is the space that I have picked for this outfit. I think it is on point. Like we discussed, the origin is all about simplicity, claiming back control, feeling organized, and I feel like this outfit makes me feel very snatched, very put together. My hair is out of my face, so I've got time to think and breathe and drink my matcha and do my Pilates and just be a clean it girl. But yeah, no complaints. I mean, it's very comfortable, very nice. I definitely think I did it justice, minus the slick back bun, but I'm sure you guys can forgive me. So those were our 4 style aesthetics for this video, and funnily enough, they do kind of relate to each other, which is probably why they are coexisting so peacefully in the same time period. And I think each aesthetic is just a mirror of its time. So coquette is absolutely all about softness and self-expression in a culture that kind of devalues emotion. Dark academia has the depth and meaning in an overstimulated digital age. Y2K is all about nostalgia, looking back at the good old times, feeling your best possible self. And then of course the clean girl aesthetic is all about having control and calm in a very anxious, perfection, image driven world. So I think what's really interesting is that none of these aesthetics just appeared on their own out of nowhere. They're definitely shaped on our responses to what's going on in the world, the advancements of technology, and just the general emotions of the time, which if you ask me is pretty damn powerful. I know style for me means a lot. I find that I express myself and my emotions and kind of my current mental state through my fashion choices. So fashion is just the language we use to tell stories one outfit at a time. And just as a bonus thought process, isn't it interesting how every generation reinvents what beauty means? We reinvent the beauty standard. It is something that just keeps on moving, and it is really hard to keep track of and try and be the most fashionable, the most trendy person to possibly exist. And that pressure in itself can develop different style aesthetics, which is why people tend to lean into different directions throughout their life. So the platforms change, but the pattern stays the same. We are constantly trying to express ourselves, find out who we really are, and try and express that to the world through fashion. So maybe style isn't about fitting into one aesthetic after all. It's about exploring them all until you find one that feels like you. And that journey I have definitely been on, and it is so much fun. Sometimes I look at past photos of myself and I'm like, what is she wearing? What is that aesthetic? But actually that was who I was at the time, and it's really fun to look back and reflect on that. And I'm also really excited to see how I choose to express myself with my style in the future, who I will become in the next 6 months. So that was a nice kind of journey through all of these aesthetics. I really enjoyed learning about all of these. I honestly had no idea that style had such a complex history and theory behind it. I just felt like it was people putting clothes on and feeling cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this slightly different style of video from me. If you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up. It's really encouraging and it really tells me that you guys are enjoying the content I'm creating. Videos like this take a lot of time and effort to put together and research, so a little thumbs up honestly goes a long way. And if you did subscribe, I would absolutely love to see you again for the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!